What's up guys, Dzeeff here, and a few days ago I posted part 1 of the year-end Yu-Gi-Oh! Review I did with Farfa, and today we have part 2. So basically what we did is that we went on a live stream and went through all 4 of the core sets released in 2021, and we kind of talked about our favorite cards and our least favorite cards from those sets. In today's video we're talking about Dawn of Majesty and Burst of Destiny, but if you missed the first part where we talked about Blazing Vortex and Lightning Overdrive, I'll make sure to link that at the end of today's video. You don't necessarily have to have watched that video to watch this one, but it's a good idea to watch both of them to get a full picture of how we felt about 2021. I hope you guys enjoy the clips and make sure to check out Farfa if you haven't already after watching today's video. Alright, Dawn of Majesty. So, Dawn of Majesty had a lot of, I would say, cards that were going to get better in the future, cards that didn't see play right away. This one had things like Ready Fusion. It had the Despia stuff, which Aluber, is that how you pronounce that? I don't even know. The Jester of Despia has only gone up in price since the set has been released. Like, it was like
I think Aluber is like 80 where I live just now, by the way. It's absurd.
Really? Holy shit, that's crazy.
Was crazy.
I mean, this card like was the most expensive secret rare on release, and then it just crashed because no one was playing it, and it's only like steadily gone up since then. And obviously, like the Elbaz structure deck, that's a pretty big announcement. But yeah, this set had like some cool cards, but a lot of the cards did kind of feel like pack filler at the time. The starter stuff, cool, not that great. The Gizmek stuff, cool, but not that great.
Excuse me, Doug? Are you missing the B Trooper archetype?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm just going through from top
Second
to bottom
place,
here,
YCS. First place, Swedish Regional. I love B Troopers, so...
yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, B Troopers were so cool. I remember, like, at least with me, I read the cards and I was like, I don't know how, but these are going to be like broken. I just know it. Like they feel so good.
Exactly.
Like they just look so powerful, but I wasn't smart enough to like come up with a B Trooper deck. And then like a few people started posting like their initial like testing with the deck, and I saw some early deck lists, and they don't look too far off from what we're playing nowadays. I mean, people came up with all like the Retaliating C combos and stuff like that. And gosh, this has just been one of my favorite decks from the past year in terms of like new strategies.
Going back to what we said earlier about like TCG exclusive archetype, like you could see immediately from the B Trooper, like first wave of support, like this was like a good deck, right? Like it had tools, it had like extenders, it had decent ways to like, start and take advantage of things like, like Retaliating C. Like it was an amazingly powerful card. Resonance Insect not being once per turn because it's old as hell. It had a lot of ways to abuse it. And it's really sad as we talk about the next set, how bad the support was. Not really bad. I mean, they had like 1 or 2 good cards, but you expected like if they're gonna as good as the first set, you'd think like the second set would be like just as amazing and the deck would be unreal. And the deck is still like really good. It's strong, but it's not like as I guess as game breaking as I'd hoped it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize at the time that I was like setting myself up for failure, but I remember always saying, as long as the Burst of Destiny B Trooper cards are half as good as the first wave of support, they'll be really powerful. And then they weren't half as good, which was really sad.
We'll talk about the bold stuff soon, but in general, I think you have a way to search Retaliating C, which is a card that can just randomly be busted depending on the deck, right? If you play against a Ritual deck and you drop Retaliating C on a Drytron Nova, like that's it. Like that is game, right? So it has like that kind of level of finishing power just because of the fact that it had so much synergy with just randomly old like insect support. So the most important thing about Ready Fusion, I think, was that it was released alongside the Fusion Tuner monster, which was huge.
Hold on a second. We already had a Fusion Tuner monster.
We had the
card of 2017.
Yeah, for sure. But this one was level 2, which I suppose maybe opened up, different pathings than what Theseus would, because 5 can sometimes be a bit of an awkward number for a tuner, whereas 2 like allows you to like maybe do a couple of extra plays that you wouldn't normally be able to. Like an Adamancipator, for example, it's like a nice way to extend into Raptite.
Does anyone really use this card to summon Helk? Like, I really haven't seen that as much as I thought I would.
No, I don't think so. And it must have... Personally, I think it's more to do with the fact that Hulk has most of its good targets no longer in the game. That Hulk isn't as good as it used to be. It's still like a good card, right? I mean, Ready Fusion is just something that will... it has the, as I like to call it, like just the open door syndrome, where it will just get something in the future to just be generically good, right? When you have something
It's
as
just like institution. It's only going to get better as time goes on.
yeah, like some random archetype in the future might need a very specific type level attribute combination that just makes it like absurd with it, right? Other than that, the Dawn of Majesties, they had a lot of the Stardust stuff. Talked about a little bit about that at the start. It's good, but like, I mean, Stardust still struggles with the issue that it's always had, right? It doesn't matter how much cool support they get, if they get stopped on speeder, it's like,
It's
all right.
When your deck only has like one choke point, it's really hard to play it at like a real event.
What's your favorite from this, or least favorite as well?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the Beat Trooper stuff. I had so much fun playing this deck, and honestly, like I still have all the cards for it. I didn't sell the Quagga. I don't even want to look at the price of that card because I'm sure it's crashed. But yeah, I honestly had so much fun playing Beat Troopers at locals like a bunch of weeks in a row. I think this deck is super cool, super risk style. I think this deck still has potential. I think when we get the Inzector support, maybe it'll be a little bit better because that's like an E-Telly that could be pretty good. But I think that it was really like one of the best designed archetypes that I've seen from Konami in a long time. Like lots of like really cool interactions with older cards, lots of like cool combos with the newer cards. I think Konami did a great job with the Beat Troopers.
All right, moving to Burst of Destiny. I mean, set of the year, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is like, and this was how it was last year as well, if I remember correctly. Konami seems to like really kick things up for the last two sets compared to the first two sets.
Yeah, it's always like the November set after Nationals that kind of like seems to, flip the game on its head, which is a great thing because you're like playing with this new set all the way up until like pretty much National season, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, back in the day, National season. But I mean, this set has everything. Like it has two insanely powerful brand new archetypes, and that's what you love to see out of new sets. You want to see cards that are worth pulling. You want to see those Flunder cards. You want to see those Sword Soul cards. That's great. And then you have probably one of the most influential cards, like individual cards ever released, DPE, of course. So insane. Like Fusion Destiny is so good. I mean, I know that leading up to Burst of Destiny, I'm sure you saw it in your like Twitch chat and stuff and on videos. I know a lot of people were talking about it, myself included, but I know that people were like debating about whether or not this was going to be played over Dragoon, but almost instantly everyone dropped Dragoon. Like, I don't know if you guys have tried out Fusion Destiny, but holy shit, that card feels good to draw compared to Red Eyes Fusion. I mean, that's what makes it so powerful, right? It's maybe not as good on the board as Dragoon, but it's a plus every single turn basically because it keeps coming back. You get the draw two, you can draw a Fusion Destiny. This card is just really insane.
Yeah, people always bring up the, in a vacuum, Dragoon is better, but it's like, well, unfortunately, that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh functions. So
yeah, I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh in a vacuum.
Yeah, being able to just slap down Fusion Destiny at the end of your combo or after like two hand traps when your opponent stops your main play, you cannot have that level of power in something like Red Eyes Fusion because it locks your whole turn, which is a good thing, to be fair.
The Anaconda choke point. I mean, like you still play Anaconda, so you can do that. But like if you draw Fusion Destiny, it removes that choke point completely, which is just fantastic. You basically only have to worry about Ash when you activate Fusion Destiny versus having to worry about Valor and Impermanence and stuff like that.
And it's always fun to make Verte anyway, to activate the Fusion Destiny. And they Valor Impermanent, and you just activate the Fusion Destiny from your hand anyway. So, just a free discard. It's great.
And Evil Twins Trouble Sunny was in this set as well, which was, Evil Twins. I mean, they were a little bit hyped on release, and then, people bought them, and obviously the max rarity cards have gone up in price a lot, but they never really had like that big ending boss monster they were missing. And then this set finally gave it to them. And while they haven't like performed maybe as well as people thought they would, I think they still are a pretty competent deck, especially in the current format. They can play a lot of hand traps. They kind of remind me of Prank Kid's last format.
Yeah, they're a very mid-rangey deck that kind of falls into that category of like Pure Try and Prank Kids and Salad. And, they're just kind of like this like 1-2 linear card combo that, ends on like just something very simple and basic that allows you to tech in a bunch of format-dependent hand traps or tech cards, board breakers, going second, going first things, traps, whatever you want, right? You can build it any way you want. The engine is like 15 to 20 cards, and you can make it any way you want. We haven't really talked about it going over these sets, but like if you've noticed, through each of these sets that we've talked about, they've been getting like one card per set or something. A very good one they got before this was Sunny Snitch. not Trouble Sunny. The specifically the spell card that like reduces your opponent's life by 200 and then you gain 200, which is a amazing card with time rules to have in play. And with the new Trouble Sunny card as well, giving it that consistency of just being able to bring back both of your Link ones, pop a card, draw a card. So it's a deck that really thrives off of having hand traps because you're drawing every turn, and if you draw a trap on your opponent's turn, you can't set it. So hand traps work really well with it. The burn effect is extremely useful in a practical, real-life tournament environment.
Yeah.
And it's just been getting better and better with each set. So I think it's probably at its peak now. I don't think they're going to get much more than this. And it's in a good spot as a solid, like, top contending rogue deck.
And we have to talk about, although I honestly have never played it in a tournament because I don't want to, Small World. This card is so cool. It is so confusing as well. But it opens up a ton of options for deck builders that are willing to get very creative.
Small World is like an incredible card, and the funny thing about Small World is that on release, no one really recognized the power and potential of it. I guess maybe people could have been put off by the fact that it's a -1. People might have been put off by
But it's a silent mining for any monster in the game.
Like you can literally just search anything in the game if you're willing to put like a middle target for it. And sometimes those middle targets can be quite good because I guess like the biggest innovation that made it really bump in price was when Lyrillust Tri-Brigade, shout out to Nets and Team WAF for that, I guess. They put Small World in Lyrillust Tri-Brigade because you could put Dinotherium as your middle monster, and that would just get you any wind in your deck. So you just had 3 more copies of Warbler, the best starter card. So you just have like that level of ability to use resources at your disposal, like just going on the database, finding specific types, attributes, attack values, whatever it is that you need to use Small World, and it's amazing. It works in every deck if you're willing to like put the time and effort into like finding those critical targets.
Right, which I am definitely not, but I think people smarter than me will figure it out. This is definitely one of the coolest cards that Konami has released this year, just in terms of like sheer uniqueness. Like we just don't have cards like this in the game.
That's really what you want, right, from new cards, is the ability to expand and take deck building and innovation to a next level. And people who are willing to put in the time and effort into cards like this will get rewarded and, hopefully do more successfully at events and stuff. And that's good card design. I don't think it gets better than that.
What was your favorite card from the year in terms of these core sets? Like, what's the card that you think you got the most playtime out of these 4 core sets?
Oof, I don't know about favorite, but playtime obviously has to be DPE. Like I have thrown
Even though
that
it was released so late into the year.
Genuinely, I have thrown that in every deck you can imagine. There is no deck that just cannot take advantage of just here's 3 Fusion Destiny and 2 guys, or here's a deck that puts 2 bodies together. DPE was like fundamentally just incredible. It was so good. Even the fact that it was the most recent. It's amazing.
I would say for me, it's either Pot of Prosperity, which I did play in a number of decks, but honestly, like once again here, even though it's the last set of the year, I have like been playing more Yu-Gi-Oh over the past 2 months than I have like all year. I've just been playing Sword Soul a lot, and even though like it's kind of linear or whatever, like honestly, like I think the deck's like super fun. I love synchro summons. I love level 8 synchro monsters specifically, so. While it's just a dumb meta deck, I actually have had a lot of fun playing Sword Soul over the past like couple of months here. I can't remember the last time I actually like played one of the best decks in the format because I do enjoy playing rogue decks, but I just love synchro summoning so much, man, that Sword Soul was a big fan favorite for me personally.
Sword Soul's a great like deck for anyone coming into the game new or even veterans because it's very linear and it's fairly simple for the most part. Obviously, it has like a lot of intricacies and stuff when you really get to the high levels of play, but for the most part, anyone can really pick it up and just perform a synchro summon, search, and set a back row, right? It's it's not like the craziest deck in the world. It's like Satellarknight with the synchros, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it has those intricacies, but if you are just like playing online or whatever, or you're getting back in the game, most of the time, if you just summon Grandmaster and summon Baron, you're probably going to win. Like a lot of decks just scoop to that because it's so you have an effect negate, you have an omni negate, you have a pop 2. That's a lot for most decks to deal with, but I think the deck is like a lot of fun. And then we'll end the video on biggest overall flop of the year.
Well, since I've already mentioned it, I'll leave Warrock and stop going for that low hanging fruit so often. So this time I'll pick Majesty, which we didn't really get a chance to
Really?
talk about too much,
They
but
have some like interesting kind of
they do.
combos.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to have done anything. I think it's a deck that can go well with rocks. I think you can play like megaliths in it quite well, and it has like good synergies because they're like equal levels, and you can overlay. And I'm
Oh,
not
sure.
sure. I could be making this up from like a random YouTube video I saw like 2 months ago, but I have not seen Magikey do anything
Yeah.
whatsoever, and I still don't really know what the deck does. And I'm pretty sure I've watched like a couple of replays on it, and
Mhm.
it's pretty terrible. S Force is up there as well. I mean, we have
Yeah.
had some bad archetypes this year.
I'm gonna pick because I pulled that secret rare so many times. Ice Jade. Do you know
Ice
what Ice Jades
Jades.
do? Because I sure don't, but I do pull that secret rare a lot. And yeah, I just hate this deck. I'm so sick of seeing that card. I don't know why it was a secret rare. It's like they had to put just the shittiest secret rare ever, which I get. But yeah, Ice Jade. I don't know what they do. I don't plan on knowing what they do. But I know that they suck.
I think it gets one Battle of Chaos card apparently, and
Oh, sick.
I'm not sure one more card is going to really do it for the deck.
Yeah, Ice Jade Double Helix. But anyway, that was our year in review. Thank you for joining me for this. Just kind of going over the core sets.
And just to really quickly mention, I think that that people in your comment section are going to be really mad because there's like a ton of things we didn't mention, but we'd be here for like ever, right? But there are like a ton of cards we missed. We missed like Riot Dragon. We missed like Flunders. We didn't really go into too much detail with them. Despia, we didn't go super hard on. Sue Ships. There's a lot of things happened this year, and I'm just waiting for the new Forbidden Limited list and Battle of Chaos as well. Well, not Battle of Chaos, Grand Craters, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see even more of a shakeup. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh's in a very interesting and creative place right now. So it's really just wait and see, and it's really exciting to see where we're gonna be in like just a month to month for the next little while.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, if any of you are not subscribed to Farfa already, well, okay, everyone watching the Twitch stream obviously is following you, but when the video goes live, they might not be. So if anyone is not following Farfa, make sure to check them out on Twitch and YouTube and other social media places as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope you guys have a good one.
Peace.